Parks, have you had that hat all the time? I would say it's relatively new.
I just got it in San Diego.
Nice. Still 7.25. Snapback. Look at you getting all grown up on me.
Oh, it.
I always remember it was whenever we would have fitted hats, it was between 7 1/8 and 7.25. And depending on the hat, one would fit the other, and yep.
Yeah, they were never like super consistent.
Well, and you got to take into account how much hair you have too.
I mean, I don't wear much with the bun back here, so it's too hot to wear my hair down too, especially with a hat. Like I got a new hat out in Boston. It's like vented on the top too. I was like, all right, sweet, that'll be perfect. Nah, still can't wear it.
So you got a visor?
No.
Okay.
No. Hold, please. Give me 1 second.
Nice.
So very vented up top. It's got a zipper on the side, and the back is like a clasp. So if like you need to do whatever, like pretty fucking sweet.
How old are you?
Hey. Easy there, Gray Bush.
At least I have a bush.
I would say you of all people are going to talk. Brett Favre looking ass. When he was 30.
Yeah.
Just saying.
You need to like pull your hair through each of the individual holes.
Oh, jeez.
Actually, I did do this where I actually put the bun between like the back of it, right through the back.
All right, let's get this over with.
Yemi Baki Yoko, oh yo, Samina Mina, Edward Mende, Samina Mina Sam Sadate. He comes from Senegal.
And I think going out and get Saul was the top transfer of the market for Chelsea.
Chesney could have been in the shower smoking a cigarette like he was at Arsenal, and we still would not have scored.
My rants have been fueled by Scott. Don't get it twisted.
Big Rom. Man, fuck you.
In Roman we trust, right?
You and me are going to have a battle royale about Jorginho and diving.
The flag stays down!
All right, welcome to the Flag Stays Down podcast. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. We are live right now on Twitch. This is the last of the U.S. tour live post-game Twitch streams. We thought about not doing it, but here we are. So, got a full house. You got me here, Andy. Follow me at Comiskey North. You got Parker at DJ Parkour, and you got Matt at Two Sleet. Where do we want to start? I mean, I'm starting by flying the L because that's what we've done all fucking preseason. But how are you guys doing? There you go, Matt.
I am desperately trying to hang on to any shred of like positivity in this preseason, and it's becoming increasingly difficult. And then the last straw for me was that fourth goal that Arsenal put in was just kind of the nail in the coffin. I'm like, I'm turning this off. I don't even care. And I'm just really praying it's not indicative of the season. And I know it's preseason, and you shouldn't overreact either way. If we blew people out, we shouldn't overreact like we're going to win the league. but I would have preferred to see us play at a higher level than we did today. So it was a very fitting way to end the preseason. Just kind of praying and trying to focus on the positivities that I saw, and negate and diminish the negative stuff that came to mind too.
So I actually do have one positive to draw out of the entire preseason. Me, the ultimate pessimist, I actually do have one positive. Outside of Broja, nobody got injured. Based on our season last year, I take that as a win. We come out of preseason unscathed, like everybody's still healthy. Nobody has a season-ending injury. I chalk that up as a win. As much as it pains me to say it, I think it was during the Charlotte game, the commentary, which Collins, you and I have clearly gone through. I think that they had said that out of like main players for us, we had missed like our main players missed like 155 matches last year. Like out of our like starters or people that could have been starters. Yeah, that's quite a lot. So to me, getting out of preseason, no significant injuries, I take that as a win. I don't want to get into the match. I was only involved in half of it because I was gone for the first half, but watching the second half, boys, from what you told me and from what I saw in our group text, it looked like a lot of the same. So everybody's healthy. That's the best I can take out of this whole preseason. Like that's really the best I got.
I don't even know if that's a positive. to be honest, we brought all this deadwood along with us to America to raise their market value, to get teams to bid on them. Like, oh, look how well they're playing, and all of them have shit the bed, top to bottom. This whole roster is shit the bed, and so we weren't getting any offers to begin with on Michy. We weren't getting any offers on Kennedy. Ross Barkley has been offered to Aston Villa. Like we are literally saying, here, take him. And they're like, nah, we're good. I almost wish some of these guys would be injured, because then at least you're claiming the insurance on them, and it leaves a little bit of mystery, right, to other teams. Like, ooh, well, when he comes back, you never know. But no, we're stuck with this again, deadwood. It's poor. And the first one I want to get into is Michy, because Matt, I know you're high on him. You like when he takes his chances. Cool. So does Timo. Timo took his chances tonight too, but he equally looked like shit. They both need to be sent elsewhere. Like honestly, I saw it floated around of, oh, Marcus Alonso should play up front. And honestly,
don't.
No,
Don't
I'm going.
You dare.
I'm going there right now. Marcus Alonso would be a better number 9 than Michy or Timo.
So I'll further that, Collins, if you don't mind me piggybacking.
Go for it.
Because I watched the game with Carolyn today, my wife, and she legit asked a fair question. She said, "So why doesn't Conor Gallagher play in front of Timo?" And I kind of went through like, well, his position's a little different. He's box to box. We would kind of lose out on some of his defensive abilities. All true points. But we are at a surplus in midfielders, and we are kind of at a detriment in our number 9 striking. I wouldn't hate seeing Conor play there instead of a Timo. Like, throw him up there instead of being a holding mid or a pivot mid in our system. Why couldn't Conor be up there? Like, he has to be better. He's more technical. He's better with the ball at his foot than Timo is. He's going to get better chances to score, and he can slot him in. Like, I don't see what it hurts because we're not getting what we need out of our striker today.
And I'm going to bring you both back to reality and go with what you both said. It's preseason. You can't look that far into it, right? You give Michy a shot, right? I like the fact that he's taking opportunities, right? If he has even half a chance for a shot on goal, he's going to take it, right? Where we know Rom would try and play a ball or lose possession and throw a thumbs up. Like, at least he's making the effort. He's trying to take the chance. If it doesn't go in, it doesn't go in, but he's giving something. Timo, at least he's giving something. I understand that they're not goals. I completely understand. I think you have more of an argument with Timo than you do Michy. Because Timo's been playing in the Premier League for 2.5, 3 seasons, something like that. Right. So 2 seasons, and he had a hot start and then he faded off and he gets poacher goals. Like, that's what he does. He is the Thomas Muller of the Premier League, right? He's kind of just like a poacher. That's kind of what he's known for.
You know what? You know what Timo Werner is? He's the Michy Batshuayi of the Premier League. I said it last week. Michy has scored 30 goals in the last 6 seasons. Timo Werner, yes, he got off to a hot start. He got off to a very hot start. He's played 56 games for Chelsea and scored 10 goals. So he went on a hot start and has been on a 1.75 years cold streak. Cut them both. They're both deadwood.
I'm not talking about whether they should stay or not. I'm talking about them during preseason. Yes, you have to give Michy a shot. I like what I've seen out of him in preseason compared to all of the other strikers that we currently have. I like what I've seen out of him, comparatively speaking. I'm not saying he should start day one. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, compared to what we had last year, from a straight up number 9, Kai and Rom, I would take Michy over Rom as a backup to Kai. That's all I'm saying.
I would rather play with the false 9. I'd rather have Raheem Sterling play a false 9. I'd rather have Pulisic play a false 9. I'd rather have Ruben Loftus-Cheek play a false 9. I'd rather have Marcus Alonso play a straight up 9.
Okay. Let's.
Yeah. Yes. You said exactly what we've been saying in these last couple pods and live post games, is that shouldn't read too much into preseason. But when you see trends that are carrying over from very poor trends over the last 2 seasons or going back 6 seasons, carrying into the preseason, things are not getting better. So Matt, you know the definition of insanity, right?
Oh, I got it down to a science. Yes. And my question to you is, you bring in Michy, and I don't want to target it to Michy because this could honestly be anybody on the squad right now. If we're looking strictly at Michy, this is his first 3 games back with his club after being on loan for 2.5 seasons, something like that.
5.
Like I said, double that up.
So,
I'm just saying.
So he should be used to changing systems. He should be able to adapt. He's had to do it every fucking year for the last half decade.
Okay, fine. If that's the case, then why do we still have Cho?
Because we can't sell, because his wages are so high, we can't sell him.
That's what I'm saying.
22.
Like he's been around in this system for God knows how long. And you look at somebody like Michy finally getting back to Chelsea, first team in the preseason. I think he's been more efficient than Rom, like hands down. I think he's been more efficient just in the 3 games that I've seen him.
You can't be efficient if you don't have any goals. He has
He's
Rom is
zero.
automatically more efficient because he has converted at a higher rate.
I think that Michy takes more opportunities than Rom would have. I would rather see Michy take a half chance on goal than I would Rom try and play a through ball into somebody because he has no control, or try and play that control touch. I would much prefer Michy to take a half chance on goal than Rom try and control possession.
Did you know Timo Werner is our second highest earner? He makes £270,000 per week.
I'm not surprised.
Second to N'Golo Kante.
Who oddly enough did not play. I don't even think he traveled.
Couldn't.
That's right. He was with RLC.
Yeah, he couldn't make the trip. So I'm gonna say it's not his fault, even though it's his decision, you know. But we'll chalk it up to did not play due to circumstances.
Yeah.
Timo Werner
I'm
makes
scared.
14 million pounds a year. Sorry, just to reiterate that point.
I looking at the matches that I watched, and I didn't watch this Charlotte match. I was out of town for work.
Oh, you're so lucky.
Thank you. And ironically, that's the one where I thought we should have put 4 in because we're playing Charlotte, and we didn't. So that's alarming. And to my point, which is I'm afraid of how we're going to score goals this year. We talked about it ad nauseum last year about how do we score goals without a regular striker, and do we have to rely on wing backs? For whatever reason, it doesn't look like we're in the same kind of free-flowing system that we played last year. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to create as many chances, or we didn't create as many chances in this preseason than we did during the season. Our problem the past couple of years has been we create all of these wonderful opportunities and we can't put them home. And I can count on like one hand how many good opportunities we had in this game against Arsenal. Mace had a great take, hit off the post. Sterling played a great ball to Timo that got kind of sent out for a corner. A couple other Ziyech had a great ball in to Alonso that that got cleared off or deflected out. Like 3 or 4 like great goal scoring opportunities that didn't get converted, but we didn't create much else. That's my biggest fear for this year is, man, we got to find a way to be more dangerous and to control possession more. And that's the other point is we looked very much out of control. We looked very helter-skelter. We looked very erratic in defense, and no one really knew what was going on. So that's where I think like the preseasonness of this comes in, where once we get settled and situated and play with consistency, some of those issues get worked out. But if I'm just judging it based on what I saw, I'm scared. I am. It's negative indications going into the year, which I don't feel comfortable with.
What do you put that on? Who needs to make a change?
I think it starts with the back. I think once the back gets locked up, things really improve. We've kind of seen that once like our defense with like a Jorginho and Kovacic gets locked in, we start to flow a lot better. Trev had a rougher outing today, I think, and didn't play his best. And then I think what's going on with our wingbacks needs to get a little bit more locked down. We didn't have Chills out there today. And then Koulibaly came in, and he was my highlighted today, which was he came in and looked good. And that gave me a lot of comfort of what could be if he's a regular defender in there through and through. I can kind of fill the shoes of Rudy a little bit and provide some stability to our defense. I think once we can build off of that, but that's going to take some time. And that's another thing when you bring new people into a system, it's going to take a little bit of time. From what I saw from him, though, he was probably my like man of the match, judging based on that.
Yeah, I mean, again, I only caught part of the second half, but I saw those kind of Rudy characteristics out of Koulibaly. Like, he had no problem taking somebody down. He had no problem getting in front of the ball and just selling out for a deflection. And those are things that you want to see in your center back. Rudy is like, he's his own beast, right? I think we can all agree on that. Like, there aren't many like him, but Koulibaly might be as close as you can get, at least initially looking at his first outing, right? Just selling out and bodying people if he needs to, taking that card. I like what I saw out of him for, the half hour that he was in, but I think as he grows into things, and you talk about him, Silva, Kunde, whenever that solidifies, hopefully, you look at that back three, and I mean, good luck getting through that. It seems very tight, very solid, very sound. And I think that once that happens, Parse, to your point, you get that, then you have your midfield, right? You either have Gallagher, Kova, Jorginho, Conte, right? RLC to all fill that gap and do whatever they need to do. So I think once you get that back three, and then obviously the wing backs being Reese and Chills, once you get that locked down, I think you're going to have a little bit more freedom in the midfield, but you're still going to have people that know what their role is and what they're supposed to do, kind of like how we have it with Jorginho and Kova, right? Because you can build Connor into that, right? RLC, he's able to do both if he needs to. Conte, we know he's going to be more high pressure, things like that. So I think that we are at a luxury in the midfield.
I think we have luxury in a lot of the pitch. I think we have some real class defenders. I think we have two real class keepers. I think the midfield is stacked. I think the attack needs work, but I can understand why it's not a transfer priority at the moment. I said this as a joking hot take on our New Year's Day pod, that in the next 365 days, Tuchel will be let go. I don't know if he's gonna be let go, but this preseason, I think, is starting to put him on the hot seat. At least from a fan perspective. I know Boley's going to back him for a while. I don't think he's going to be as ruthless as Roman has been. But you look at what the manager's job is in preseason. It's to get the guys up to fitness. We have not looked up to fitness. The fucking commentators on this tour can comment all they want about, oh my gosh, Chelsea have traveled so far. Like, yeah, fuck off. Like, what if LA to Vegas is what, a couple hours less than?
Maybe an
90
hour.
minute flight. Yeah, 90-minute flight tops.
Yeah.
Orlando to Charlotte and back. Maybe a 90-minute flight, right?
Yeah, 90, maybe 2 hour, depending on if you're going into a headwind.
Yeah. Yes, distance wise, you look at the miles, it's crazy, but dude, these are not, they're not flying LA to New York, Vancouver to Miami, kind of like week in and week out here. This Tuchel should have these guys up to fitness, honestly, at this point. And the whole, I said this in our group chat, I don't think it comes down to a lack of talent. We have seen out of this group that there is talent. They won the Champions League. For the most part, this is the group that won the Champions League. I think it comes down to effort. It comes down to effort. It comes down to mentality. You saw it tonight. Arsenal treated this like an actual match. we went out there and couldn't break it out of our own third. And it was stupid mental errors. That's all it was. It was stupid mental errors. Trev did all the work to get that ball out on the first goal and passes it right to an Arsenal player. Edward Mendy, distribution, brilliant. Right to an Arsenal player, led to a break. The fourth goal. What is Dave doing? Dave is supposed to be on the right side there, and he's coming further inside than Thiago Silva. Who are you marking? I know you're out the door to Barcelona. I know you don't give a shit. But what are you doing?
I'll argue with that one, but
yeah, you can argue Jorginho all you fucking
no,
want.
no,
I'm
no.
not here for that shit today.
No. I will not throw that on Jorginho. I will throw that on Cho.
Cho was marking somebody. I was looking for Cho in the replay. He was back on somebody.
Yeah, but guess what? If Dave slides over, he needs to drop his ass back. And that's been the biggest MO with Cho, is that he doesn't drop back.
Fair. All right, I'll agree with you on this one. You got me riled up for a second, but now I'm good.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, I'm not blaming Jorginho on this one. I think everybody had to shift, and Cho didn't drop back like he should have.
And it's 92nd minute, whatever. It's not like it was a close game, anyways.
Correct. But at the same time, it kind of sums up Cho's preseason in a nutshell.
Yeah. And just to kind of like wrap up my point here, like it has been very clear since the beginning of the tour, Tuchel has not been thrilled about being here. Just in his media days and his pressers and his comments to Nazar and Matt Law and all them, he's not thrilled to be here. I think he would rather be training at Cobham all preseason and staying continental. Do something, like you got to get your guys up, regardless of whether or not you're happy. Like, you're an employee of the club. The club has decided to come to America. Embrace it. The fans here are more than thrilled to have you here. And I don't know, it just seems kind of like a pouty thing from Tuchel of like, oh well, fuck this preseason. Like, I don't want to be here, so no one else should have to be here. We're walking into the season with a terrible mentality.
So my only defense on Tuchel is that, when was PSG last year?
I don't follow PSG. I have no idea.
When was Dortmund last year?
Again, I don't follow either of those. I don't know.
Right. No, I know you don't follow. I'm not looking for specifics, but I'm just like,
PSG was last year.
Okay, which he wasn't part of PSG at the time. I'm just saying, when was the last time he was on like an American tour where his team had to actually travel to the US, do all that? Like, when was the last time he didn't have the freedom to just say, no, we're just going to train and do what we need to do? I think this is uncharted waters for him. And I think he's trying to get his team up to speed. And in his mind, it's kind of like unnecessary background noise that he doesn't want to deal with, because looking at it now, he's trying to get his team up to speed, trying to get him up to pace. And now you have to play these matches, and that the American public, which counts, as you pointed out, the Premier League is now the fourth most watched league in all of sports in the US. You've got a lot of eyes on this. And I don't think he's ever really had that from a US standpoint before. And yeah, it can be overwhelming. Like, obviously we as American supporters, and when there's like a US men's national team game in the States, we come out in droves, right? Like stadiums are usually pretty packed. So I think it's kind of a new thing for him. But at the same time, I don't think he's succumbing to like, no, I'm just trying to get my people in shape, win or lose, whatever. They know what I expect out of them. And I mean, he even blasted everybody after the Charlotte match. He blasted everybody. And which rightfully so, right? A first year club out of MLS. Yeah. And you're the I don't know, you're the FIFA Club World Cup champions, right? Yeah, you should be whooping the shit out of a first year expansion team, even with your backups, even with your U21s, right? Because all three of us don't give a lot of respect to MLS, like comparatively speaking. We really don't. You need to be able to go out whatever system that you're running and whoop the shit out of that team. I completely understand why people are mad at Tuchel. At the same time, it's a new animal for him. Yeah, I think that is something that he's had to try and deal with, and he is a very like, we're doing this. He is a very like oriented person. He doesn't like things to be thrown off. And I think this is one of those things where he had a set plan for preseason, and it's just like, oh no, we're gonna go to the States. He's like, well, fuck. We'll see what happens. We'll just get people up to pace and go from there.
Breaking Tuchel presser comments, by the way, one of the perks of doing a live stream here as we go. Tuchel was asked about the lack of goal scoring in the last couple matches. He says, quote, "We have a lot of players who are thinking of leaving and looking at options. I think that's obvious. We had an urgent appeal for quality players. We got 2 quality players, but we're not competitive like this, and you could see that today." He goes on to say, "Hopefully we will see improvements, but at the moment we have the same players." Shots fucking fired.
Oh,
That means Timo's not good enough, and the crew is not good enough. Kai Havertz isn't good enough, right?
hey, honestly, it doesn't matter. I fucking love that man. He pulls no punches. He is a manager of the people.
Well, I think being so involved in the transfer market this year, which he has said that he has historically not been, like summers have been very laid back for him. I think he is at his wit's end with the way some of this is going.
I mean, so the only problem now is, who do you go sign?
You guys are going to.
Oh, I will drive over to your house and slap the shit out of you if you say Jovic.
No, he's already signed somewhere. He's with Fiorentina.
I'm just saying. I just want to make sure.
I pushed for this one a couple weeks ago. This is probably on our pod that was never aired. But I pushed for this one for a long time this summer. Chelsea fans were up in arms about this signing. We were literally offered this player for under 20 million pounds. And he finishes he scores. Cristiano fucking Ronaldo. Tell me that's not a goddamn upgrade over every forward we have at the moment. For 15 million pounds, you wouldn't take a flyer on a legend?
Nope.
You're a fucking idiot.
Nope. I absolutely will not. And I agree. So Collins, I know that you're kind of at a standstill with the Men in Blazers. Like I completely understand that.
Who are they?
Exactly. But Raj did bring up a very good point. And I completely understand it and I completely agree with it. He can go to a team and make them 120% better in 1 year. But if you look at it over the course of 4 years, he's going to make them 80% worse as a club. No, thank you. Absolutely not. I
You
don't
only signed him to a 1-year deal, though.
Right.
No, because the thing with Ronaldo is that he wants to play in his system. You expect Ronaldo to play with Tuchel? Good fucking luck.
I do.
No,
I do expect it.
No, absolutely not. There is no way that Ronaldo, with the way that he plays, the way that he tries to manipulate everything, and the way that he tries to dominate everything, would mesh with Tuchel. That's why he was run out of PSG. He had a lot of high-profile talent, and he wanted them to play a certain way, and they were like, "Yeah, no, we don't want to play that way." Like, you're asking for the same thing. You're asking for 120% now, and then the team decreases by 80%. So you're going from 120 for one person down to 40% for the entire team. No, absolutely not. Because you have to cater to Cristiano Ronaldo. And no, that's never been the way that we've done things. And I don't think it's the way that we should do things. And I can guarantee you that's the way that Tuchel does not want to do things at all.
It's never been the way we do things. Oh man, get out of here. This club has been run by the players for 30 years.
Not no
the way
more.
we do things. Shut up.
Not no more.
I'm going to go on record and say I'm very much against the Ronaldo transfer as well. I think it is signing your soul with the devil. You know, you sign that dotted line and it might feel good for a minute, but it ultimately is to your detriment as a club. And I don't think the net at the end of the day is a negative, not a positive. And I do think he drags your club down. So I'm with you, Matt. I don't agree with that. The person I thought you were going to say, Collins, was Dybala, who was another player that was rumored with us, apparently offered to us and then not taken up for a relatively low-ish transfer fee, where it wasn't a player. It's not a $50 million signing or anything like that. Someone who has the ability to make us better. That's where I thought you were going with this. Not stupid fucking Cristiano Ronaldo. That's a terrible take. I like your takes, Collins. It's a terrible take.
Yeah, drink.
Fueled by Topo Chico.
Yeah.
But what I'm scared about, guys, is I think one of the problems with this preseason is there's too many open ends for Tuchel. We're trying to figure too many things out and test too many ideas and systems and players and bullshit and whatever. There's too many loose ends. What that means is we have exactly one dress rehearsal now, which is Udinese in 6 days. Like, we have one dress rehearsal before it counts, before it's one game of 38. And by the way, that first game of the season counts just as many points as the last game of the season, and any game in December. They all count the same. They are all equally weighted. And that game against Everton is going to come here quicker than we think. And we got to be ready. We got to be fucking ready to play. And we have one dress rehearsal. And that's what I'm really worried about. In my mind, like, especially as I've become an F1 fan and how F1 teams like treat practices, like, as a fan of the sport, like, I want people to go out and try to win, but sometimes like Mercedes will test a wing in a practice or in a qualifying or something, and they'll test different equipment, and then they're not as competitive and they've learned something. As a fan, that's frustrating because you want your guy to go out and win every time, but they're collecting data at the same time and trying to, assess what might work best. And then the end result, which is the race, you're better prepared because you've collected data on it. I try to keep that in mind when I think about how Tuchel sets up his preseason, and he's not setting up teams to win per se, but he's trying to gather data and collect information and whatnot. But I am under the firm belief that we need a full dress rehearsal. We need our starting 11 to go out and play a full game before the season starts. And that date is coming up sooner than later. And I'm getting nervous. That's kind of my full take on today is nerves. I'm getting nervous that we're not ready for this season, and we're going to come out slow. And I know people can look at the game today against Arsenal and say, well, it's Florida, it's Orlando, it's humid, but didn't seem to slow Arsenal down. They looked sharp. They pressed high. They gave us hell. They were all over us. And so didn't bother them. They had the same weather that we did, and they looked sharper than us today. Doesn't mean they're going to finish higher than us in the table, but today they were the better team.
Collins?
Do we want to get into table predictions, or do we want to save that for next week? The pre-season or pre-season pod.
Let's do it next week. Yeah. We're coming up on an hour here.
So based on what I saw, I'm not entirely worried about a lot of things. Just because you have so many fringe players that you're trying to trot out, like Ampadu, right?
Batshuayi.
As the commentators call them, Ampadu. Fucking idiots. But yeah, like Ethan Ampadu, he shouldn't be in that pivot position, especially this early. That's not, to me, that's not what he does. I don't think he is that player. I think he's more of a center back than he is a central midfielder. Look at Connor. I think he's more of a Kova-esque type player where he's got an engine on him and you can run him back and forth and things like that. I won't talk about the other person just to avoid argument. But I think that there are a lot of things that we're trying to test out. And in the previous two matches, as soon as subs were brought on, we always saw a change in formation. So it feels to me like he's trying to figure out who's going to work best, who's going to work best with who, what formation can I thrive in? He's really trying a lot of different things to understand the full capacity of his team, because at this point now, it's for the most part his team. So he's really trying to understand what's going to work out best. What system do I have to use? Collins, it's like when you and I play FIFA, right? We sign too many big name players, and then we're like, oh, how is this going to work? And we just come up with a system that works. I think he's kind of in that mode of what system is going to work best to where I can get the best out of the most amount of people. And I think that's kind of the mode that he's in right now, and trying to figure all that out. And I mean, hopefully he figures it out. If not, I mean, to be fair, there is a very small amount of time in the Premier League. I'm not saying you can drop 3 games in a row and still win it, but there is a little bit of cushion, a very small amount of cushion, a draw maybe in your first game, and then you have to kind of win out. But he's got to figure it out quick, and I hope he does by the time they would play Udinese.
All right, let's finish with the polls here. As mentioned on earlier pods, we run 2 polls after every match. First being our traditional man of the match poll. The second being the man of the get the fuck out of here. I think a lot of people tuned out before I posted the man to get the fuck out of here, so I'm gonna call an audible on that one real quick. But in terms of the man of the match, here are our nominees. You had Koulibaly making his debut, Hakim Ziyech, Thiago Silva, and no one. So, guys, who is your man of the match?
Out of those 4, it was Koulibaly. Not mentioned was Mendy, but because he had some pretty legit saves, including a free kick that was goal bound that kept out, along with he probably had 4 or 5 pretty decent saves. So thought Mendy looked decent comparatively to everyone, but Koulibaly out of the group that you put.
Koulibaly.
I voted no one. I was pissed. And it's funny, it works out. Koulibaly, 44.4% of the votes. No one, 44.4% of the votes. Ziyech and Silva, they also tied at 5.6.
Well, I'll change that right now.
Matt using
Goes
Twitter.
back-
All
Once
right.
Matt can find his login for Twitter.
No, actually, I am logged in. So
All right. Well, instead of doing a man of the get the fuck out of here, I'm going to leave it with this question for you guys. Who has had a better preseason, Chelsea or the broadcast team?
I'm gonna log off right now.
Chelsea took a win, and the broadcast team did not. So I give it to Chelsea.
ESPN took every single L you could imagine and then some.
The commentator tried the Rick James joke again today.
Oh, come on now.
I was joking with these guys, just to give a little clarity here. I was joking with these guys that I stopped paying attention to the game itself because I'd had enough alcohol where the commentator was actually funny to me. So that's what I was paying attention to, and yeah, it was pretty great. Definitely did not throw it in the blender.
I had it muted, and I had Transmix playing over the speakers instead, and that was far more enjoyable than any commentators. So I made the smart decision. I got rid of it quick, and never looked back.
I was at a charity baseball game, so as soon as I got home, I went into the garage and turned the game on, and I've never been more disappointed in my life.
For those wondering at home, we are in the great state of, well, 2 of us are in the great state of Wisconsin, but probably equidistant from Green Bay. Nah, that's a lie. But Man City beat Bayern at Lambeau 1-0 tonight. Erling Haaland scores his first Man City goal.
Oh, fucking course he does.
Bayern had 3 total shots in the entire game. City had 22.
Jesus.
So Matt, you talk about you got a little wiggle room at the beginning of the year.
Matthias de Ligt, I think you made the wrong choice.
Yeah, I'm with you, Collins. I don't think we have much wiggle room. When we're chasing City and Liverpool, we have almost no margin for error in this season.
Darwin Nunez scored 4 goals for Liverpool the other day that Joe made sure to text me about.
Yep, I saw that too.
Yeah, no wiggle room. What a great place to end this pod on, boys. we'll chat.
We all start with 0 points. You're coming up. What is it? The 6th of August, I think. And we all start with 0 points. We all have equal opportunity. So until that date, I have optimism.
At that point, it's all goal differential.
I'll let you guys stay positive. I won't say anything.
There we go. Gotta do something, man. It's gonna be a long year if you're not.
I would say, Collins, I'll see you at the house. on the 6th or whenever that game is, or we'll go to Highbury.
I like it. All right. Cheers, boys.
Later.
I'm all potted out.